Hey, so your ads are no longer working or they stopped working. My name is Dan, and I'm going to share with you how I worked through that with a client recently and a little bit about me. I run and manage a multi-million dollar company that we spend anywhere from six to $800,000 a year on ads profitably. To say about that subject, it came to me and they're like, my ads aren't working. This isn't working. Everything hasn't done well, and I want to re-look at my processes. I want to re-look at the ads. I want to see if everything's good. I want to make sure that, hey, I'm spending too much per lead. And I had to go back to doing this question and answer with. Okay? And this is the first step I do with all of our customers that come out and say this. Okay, number one, have you spent enough to even say it's worth testing? You don't even spend. You don't even make a test for less than $1,000. So if you spent less than $1,000 on advertising, it's not even worth talking about. For one, okay, that's how you know, because you need what's called statistically significance to be able to make decisions when it comes for advertising. The lesson here in this is all ads work. To what extent? That's what we're going to talk about and how to fix it. Okay, so when the client came to me, I was like, I understand, you're right, probably doesn't work. Let's talk about it. The leads are getting really expensive. And when I had to take a step back because I'm like, man, what's going on? Because their ads were just kicking butt. Like their lead cost was good. They were getting a good flow of ads. And then all of a sudden it just hit this, boom, it hit this roadblock. And then I look back at how much they spent versus how much they made. Okay. And so when I looked at it, they spent $60,000 and they made $131,000 cash collected. Now you tell me, would you trade 61 to make 131? Absolutely. Now, the reason why they got there and why they felt so emotional about it is because they lost path with the numbers. The most important thing is to, number one, you need to financially model or create what your ads could look like at profit. And so for this particular person, we have to look at how much do we charge for the products we're trying to sell, right? In this case, his average client pays him about $10,000, okay? And so he got 12 clients at 10,000 or $10,485 or thereabout, okay? And so his cost to acquire a customer was $5,000. And so I said, you're right. So let's look through the entire funnel. Well, the lead cost was going significantly up. However, there was a different part of the funnel or the process. Okay. When it comes to ads, there's a process. So typically I look at how much was spent. These are the things I look at to determine if an ad, how to fix an ad. Okay. Before I give you the things to fix, these are the things I look at initially. How much was spent? If it's not statistically significant, meaning over $1,000, I don't even look at it. I just say keep spending. Okay. Number two, I look at click through rate, meaning if 100 people click or see the ad, what percentage click the ad? So typically I go from 1 to 3%. So 1 to 3% is a pretty decent number. Okay. Number three is cost per lead. So now a lead, what I consider a lead, is a name, email, phone number. In this case, these people actually said how much money they owe to taxes because it's a tax advisor. So they help them save money on taxes. So this particular lead is name, email, phone, and how much do they owe to the IRS? How much do they pay to the IRS? So that's what a lead is to me. So how much does it cost me? Number four, I think I said number three. If not, I'll mess it up. But number four is cost per application. Okay, meaning so lead, and then I'm sorry, cost per booked call. So we book a call with them. How much does it cost to book a call? Okay. Number five is cost per qualified call. And the only way to identify if they're a qualified call is if I show up to a call and this person I'm talking to is actually qualified. Now that's quantifiable data, meaning if they have one, two, three, four, five things in order or in these things, if they have these things, then I consider them qualified. Now, whether they want to work with you or they don't want to work with you, that's independent of the outcome. But I still need a quantifiable way to determine if they are qualified or not qualified. And this is very important when you start to scale sales teams. You need to give them a basis of what qualified looks like and what unqualified looks like, because they're going to say disqualified and the leads suck. But if you have a framework to tell you what qualified looks like, then you can make ideas on that. So cost per qualified call, that's number five. Number six is cost per acquisition. How much did it cost me to get that customer? Okay. And then number seven is average order value. So how much money did I make from this client? And in this way, it's pretty simple. So the ad spend was $61,000. The return was $131,000, which meant that if they generated 2,374 leads and they only had 186 appointments booked, which is 12%. Okay. And so typically when I look through a funnel, the last thing I want to do is change the ads if I'm getting qualified people, because as soon as I change the ads, I change the people. Okay. And so what I told this client to do is, number one, we need to take everything we can out of those leads to turn them into book calls. Those book calls will naturally drop down in the funnel to become clients. Okay. From there, we will take that money and then go back up to the top and spend more money. Okay. Now, how do you fix an ad that's not working? There's three things that you really want to think about. Number one is the targeting. Now, how do you know the targeting is wrong? Well, if you're getting a lot more people that you don't want than you do want, and you can have a simple form that they can fill out, and the more answers you get that are not the ones you want, then you know you've targeted the wrong people. Okay, so how do you fix that? Targeting. Okay. Number two, how do you fix this? Messaging. So oftentimes people think that they're clear enough on their advertising, but in reality, they're really not. So advertising, meaning your messaging and your creative. So for an example, right now, if I'm talking to the wrong people, I'm going to get the wrong results, right? Right now, I'm letting this go out to YouTube. So they're going to pick my people, right? So my targeting is not there, but my messaging is my next pillar. Okay. Those are the two pillars that I focus on first. Number one is obviously I focus on the messaging first because I'm assuming that I chose the targeting and therefore I'm correct because I know my audience. So targeting is the last thing I work on. The first thing I work on is the specificity of the ad and the creative in which it's built. So for this particular client, they're working with doctors. So what do doctors relate with most? More doctors. So I told him, go to a doctor's office and shoot the ad in front of a doctor's office because like attracts like. They're going to get attention from what they know. They're not going to know you. They're not going to care that you're a CPA. They're going to care that you're a doctor talking to doctors. And so you almost want to simulate that you're almost like a doctor. And I told him to do that, which is why the ads blew up in a really, really well way. Okay. Creative. And then I want to work on the messaging. Is this clear? Is this clearly for doctors? Am I clearly talking to one particular person? When it comes to advertising, you need to be as clear and concise as possible. The more vagueness you have in the ads, the more disqualified people you will have on the back end of it. And so you want to disqualify with your messaging, with your words, so that the algorithms, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, all the algorithms will be optimizing for whatever you say or who's coming through. And so the messaging is so important. So if I say, hey, business owners versus, hey, physicians who owe more than $100,000 a year or pay more than $100,000 a year on taxes, well, I'm going to get a different type of customer. Okay. And so that's the second pillar I go to. I go back to and I say, was the creative good? Was the messaging very clear? Then I say, well, was the offer good? Well, let's jump on a free call. That's not a good offer. What did they get out of a free call? Absolutely nothing. Okay. So the three things that I focus on to fix an ad that's not working in this order is number one, creative, which is the ad itself, the picture, the video, the thing that goes on the ad. The messaging, which are two of the same. It's kind of two, it's 1A and 1B. The offer, what am I saying after I say, hey, come work with me to do X? What am I going to give you in exchange for your name, your email, your phone? What is the exchange that I'm going to give? The better the offer, the less good at marketing you have to be. So you want to be really important. I'm not going to talk about the offers here, but the better the offer it is, the more easier it is to get more people to click through. Okay. And then once I've exhausted those two things, this is a great offer. This is for exactly who I'm looking for, and I'm still getting the wrong people. Then I go up to its targeting. Okay. And those are the three ways that you can fix your ads if they're not working. You go back to the beginning and you say, is this ad not working? Cool. Let me shoot another very similar ad to exactly what was working. Or let me look at the top of the funnel statistics and I'm going to duplicate, make the little shift, and then run them side by side. And until this is how you know it works. This is how you know how to test these things in this order. You do it and then you have it side by side and you run them concurrently till the new thing beats the old thing. Okay. And I do not turn one off until the other one wins. So usually I say, if it meets or beats my standards, I change it. If it doesn't, I kill off the new one, keep the old one, and I keep pushing it back until I can't test anymore. And then I go to the next step, which is the offer. And I keep doing this continuously to the point where, like I said, we spent about $700,000 a year on ads, and we make a couple $1 million a year, and we're on path to do probably tens of millions of dollars a year. And this is me telling you guys in advance because we're still fairly new. And so hope that helps you guys out. These videos like this, just click the link below and let me know you like them.